Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to show you some basic R data manipulation techniques and a little bit of plotting. So firstly, let's just go to RStudio. So firstly, we're going to create a new R file. Yeah, so firstly, if you're a beginner, you might not have these packages, so I suggest you can also check if you actually have them or not. So just go to packages. So I want to install Dplyr, Ggplot. So I actually have already installed this. It's just not loaded into memory, and Ggplot too. So if you've never actually installed these before, so you can either do it from here if you're a beginner and just Ggplot 2, and you can also install the player as well, so like this, which is this one over here. So Ggplot 2 is actually the most famous one for doing highly customized plots. The player is actually very useful for data manipulation and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm just gonna show you how to install it. So just give it a bit. Excellent. So for me, that was not really necessary because I actually already installed it. If you've installed it once, you do not need to install it every single time. However, you can always check for updates. So for example, I've got a couple of packages which are actually out of date, so it's wise for you to actually go and check, and you can just select all and update them all. It's really up to you. So I'm just gonna load up a data set. So there's many ways of loading up data sets. I'm gonna assume you're a beginner, so I'm gonna show you just two ways. So firstly, I'm just gonna go to import, and this is a CSV file, so it's actually located in my C drive. It's located under data and diamonds. The diamonds actually a really popular data set. It actually comes with Ggplot too. So it's actually a very clean data set. So you can call it whatever you want. This data set actually will be called diamonds. And so, yeah, it's all nice and clean. Just import it. So this is how it actually looks like, and I'm going to just show you some, for example, some summary. So you can, if you want to look at the data set again, you can always just go here and see what kind of the type they are. So characters, numerical is a character, so it's ideal, premium, good, whatever. So just by reading this, I can assume they are in an ordered form. So it's not, for example, it's an ordinal variable. Color, I'm not very well acquainted with diamonds to know what these mean, but it's not really necessary for this topic. So as you can see over here, so if you had actually typed this in, the same would have happened. So let's just say, I'll go back here and close this, and let's say instead of going here, I would actually go here, and I'll call this diamonds 2, and just, you can select all and press run, or use the shortcut, which I really cannot remember if I actually made the shortcut or it comes automatically. So it's just hold control and press enter anywhere along, and see, now you have 2, so you can always change this. You'll also see as I progress that I'll actually not really be using this. I'll mostly be using this. It's just a habit because I've actually had learned Java and a bit of C a long time ago, so it's just a habit, and a habit which I have never broken. So I'm just going to show you how to, okay, let's say we're, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to remove this data set, just do RM, and I'm going to remove diamonds 2. Oops, RM diamonds 2. Or did I misspell that? RM diamonds. Pretty sure I spelled that right. How about just remove diamonds? Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna read that again and just call it diamonds. And by the way, you can always remove every data set from here. So I'm just gonna read that, run it, and you'll see it'll be back. So remember, so it's always important to load your libraries that you'll use. So this is actually a comment, this is not a piece of code. So because I'm going to be using Ggplot, I'm going to load Ggplot 2. So just do this, Ggplot, and you can see it's run, and if you go here, you'll see that it's actually ticked. So it's actually loaded. So after a while, when you become really well acquainted with R, you won't need to comment on every single thing. However, it's always good practice to comment on other things, such as when you do data manipulation, so you can come back and have a look at it, of what you've actually done, and you have not completely forgotten in 2 months. So for example, I'm just going to look at some summary data on this diamonds data set. So I'm just going to go to summary and just type in the name of the data set. So as you can see down here, it's just telling me some summary. So for example, the minimum for caret is that, the maximum is that, etc. So this is for all the variables. Let's say for example, you want to look at one specific variable. So I want to show you how this actually works in R. So for example, if you want to look at one specific variable, and I want to do let's say a summary of just caret, firstly you'll have to type in the name of the data set, which is called diamonds, and you'll do this $, and it's telling firstly look in this data set and then look at the specific variable, and you'll see you'll get the same thing, however just for that specific variable. So there's a couple other functions that are pretty common. So max of diamonds, caret, for example, should be the same as that, and mean, same thing. So let's say something which is let's say we want to create a new variable. So that right now we can see there's an XYZ. So let's say we want to call another variable. Let's call it just diamonds. So if you want to create a new variable within this data frame, you'll actually you'll have to type up the name diamonds and use a $. So you're actually making a new column. So let's just call it I don't know, let's just call it W. So W is equal to X plus Y plus Z. Yep, so sorry, you actually have to do this. And if you go back to your data set, now you'll have you should have a new variable. Okay. So as you can see, we've got a new one here. So it's just the sum of these. So let's say we want to rename any of these. Let's say we want to rename the column W to something else. So there's many ways of doing the same thing in R. So usually what I do is I just go to type in diamonds, and no, so names, diamonds, so okay, I see what I did there. Diamonds. Did I spell this incorrectly? So yeah, it should be this one. And this is actually the 11th variable, so it's the last one. And I'm just gonna call it, so you have to put in double apostrophes, and let's just call it W2 and just run that. So as you can see, now it's actually got a different name. So there's many ways of changing the variable name. So same thing with names, diamonds, and let's say carrot. So it'll be just be the first one, and let's say we don't like it in that, let's just call it in capitals. Yep, so you've changed it. So some basic stuff. So what else is there? As you can see, they have actually, these are ordinal. This one is actually an integer. Just some, so as you can see here, E is greater than D, etc. So what else? Oh yeah, so let's see how this data actually looks like if we do a plot. Let's say we're interested in how, for example, let's say how carrot actually affects the price of the diamonds in total. So we're gonna use Ggplot. So there's many ways to type this out. This is a way I've actually learned it in my university. So Ggplot, name of the data set, and so that means that's the name of your data set. And the nice thing about Ggplot is that you can keep adding layers. So AES just means aesthetics. So we're going to do a scatter plot. So your X will be, for example, what did I decide? Okay, carrot. So carrot, and your Y will be is equal to price. We want to do a simple scatter plot. So for scatter plot, we're just going to do a geom, and we're going to do a point, and that's it. So this is just basic stuff. So, and once you get your plot, you'll see you'll actually have to go to plots here, and you should see it come up. So just give it some time. Yeah. So as you can see, it's not the most nicest looking plot, but the nice thing about Ggplot is you can actually customize this in so many ways. So for example, let's say we want to go back and do it again, and let's say we want to color it by, let's say something else, by cut, and run it again. So you would use, there's actually two of them, there's color and there's fill. So color is usually one-dimensional things. So for example, if it's a dot, then that's a one-dimensional thing. So as you can see, now it's a bit nicer. This is something also really important, is once you start to run out of space and you want to keep adding more things, for example changing the title of your x-axis, your y-axis, or really anything, and you need to go to the next line, you always have to finish your plot with a plus and go to the next line. So let's say I want to give it a title, so GG title, and just call it my title, and just run that. See, it gives you a nice title. Let's say if I had not done that and I had actually done this instead, which is a common beginner mistake. As you can see, you'll get an error because this actually treats as two different commands. It treats this as one command, and then this is something completely different. It doesn't know what to do with it, so you should always end your line with plus and continue on. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So by the way, this applies to every package. If you're ever interested in the details, you can always go to your console, type in the question mark, and look at the package. So Ggplot 2, and just press enter, and you'll get some help. So it's just some, for example, useful links, whatever. So that's, so you can just go there if you want. So, and just give you some basic help, some cheat sheets. So this is a really nice cheat sheet which you can actually download. This is on GitHub, so you'll find some basic examples. YouTube and Google are also very helpful. I'm actually using the newest version of RStudio. So let's see. So I'm using RStudio 1.4 in 2021. So I've actually noticed some new interesting things. So I believe there's a cheat sheets tab which I was not aware of before. So for example, let's say I need a cheat sheet for Ggplot 2, and I'll take you straight to the thing and then download it for you. So there's actually a lot of nice things with the new RStudio package. So it's always nice to check if there's updates. So it's actually downloaded. So as you can see, there's something for everything, and it's just play around with trial and error. So what else? Let's just go back to our plot. So let's say we don't like these gray lines. There's a lot of things that you can do. So usually I don't like that, so I'm just gonna use a black and white theme and just run this again, and you'll see inside you can actually put stuff in there. So the better you become at this, the more you'll know what stuff you can put in there. So for example, you can customize and make your own theme for your own needs. So I like this one because it looks nice in my any reports that I need to do or any visualizations, but it's really up to you how you like to do it. So something else which is really nice about Ggplot 2 is that you can actually facet them. So facet is just facet. So there's a couple of them here. So usually I just go to Facet Wrap, and this one, let's say I want to have a different plot for each of these. So let's just say by, so this just means by, so how you're going to divide them by. So I want to divide them by cut, and just run that again. So G on point. So let's say that looks a bit messy. So I'm just going to use small size is equal to, let's call it something small. As you can see, yep. So what else can we do? Let's say we want to have an X by Y for every of these. So stat, I believe it's stat smooth. So this will just do by default, it'll do a Y by X. You'll not actually give you the function, but it will just do a Y by X. Okay, so this one actually chose a different one. So if, for example, this one, you want to change that, so geom smooth, I believe, yeah, geom smooth, and you'll see here there's actually different types. So you'll, for example, the one I use is actually method, I believe. No, it's here, formula. So you actually use this formula. So for example, you can actually change that to something else. So for example, let's just say I want to do method, just a y by x. So what is it called? lm, method, lm. So just remember, you have to go back to your plots. And you can see it does its best to give you a y by x. And yeah, so later on I'm going to show you how to deal with other types of data. So for example, time, how to format time, ordinal factors, and other small things. So thanks for your time, and I hope you look forward to the next module. That's all for me. Thank you very much.